Is it possible that new art styles are being created today? My belief is that yes. Not only are we applying new technologies and techniques, we are also mixing different concepts in order to create new realities. This video is a compilation of a few art forms that are happening today, but most people would not consider them to be a style of their own. So for number one, let's call it digital architecture. If you make an amazing palace in Minecraft, are you an architect or are you a gamer? And if you create scenarios and design houses that could never be applied in the real world, are you a designer or are you simply a dreamer? What if you create whole cities, whole worlds? What if you design a world that interacts with other dimensions? Or a world that uses non-Euclidean geometry? These are some fun examples of games that use non-Euclidean geometry. Check them out if you like this kind of stuff. Today, we mostly do architecture for fun, games, experimentation. But what if in the future, with the rise of virtual reality, it becomes increasingly useful? And just a side note regarding digital architecture, you might think that it's something small and not significant enough to be called art. But picture this. Skyrim has been played by over 30 million players. If most players reached Whiterun at least once, then this virtual city is more known and recognized than most medium-sized cities in the real world. These places eventually become ingrained in our memories. They become part of who we are. Number 2. Disartistry. A few years ago, this relatively unknown fresco was turned into a world-famous art piece. This beauty. By trying to restore it, this lady ended up creating something new. Due to this process, the fresco is now visited by thousands of people every year. And it made me think, this is a new type of art. It arouses feelings in the people who see it, and it was developed as part of a creative process. Maybe it's not the emotions that the author intended, but that happens with all types of art, especially in music and in performances. The name Disartistry was inspired by the movie about the making of another movie, a movie that went so wrong that it actually turned right. So Disartistry does not include destroying on purpose or by accident, nor vandalism. The concept is trying to create something beautiful and then end up creating something that people love, just not for the reason you initially intended. Number 3. Artificial intelligence. Art is already being created today by a wide variety of digital techniques. If you go to thispersondoesnotexist.com, you'll get a new AI-generated face that looks absolutely real, and every time you refresh, you get a new one. Another example that I recently discovered is a tool created by MyHeritage that's called Deep Nostalgia that allows you to turn pictures into animations. Tattoos Wizard even used it to make this bizarre video where tattoos come alive. Maybe in the future these pieces can become more complex. Maybe we'll be able to give these animations personality types, and then when we hang them on the wall they will interact with us, just like they did in the Harry Potter movies. Oh, and by the way, the music that you're hearing right now was generated using AI by a music engine called AIVA. You can even buy AI-generated art in this virtual art gallery today. But what I'm talking about here is not improvising on art that already exists. It's creating new type of arts, creating materials that we can't even conceive today. It's AI, by itself, being able to analyze the trends and understand what people want to see, hear, feel, and then creating exactly that. Can you imagine a remake of your favorite movies, but with different actors? Incredible concerts featuring long-gone politicians? Or even football matches with live-action historical figures. Maybe you'll even be able to move in the pitch and become the referee using virtual reality. Number 4. Descriptive Memery. This type of art is a mix between documentary, storytelling and meme art, and it's mostly done with a fast pace and frequent humor. I'm gonna show you a 30-second clip that perfectly encapsulates what this style is. In this clip, internet historian is expanding on the relationship between the Costa Concordia captain, responsible for the incident, and his alleged mistress.
They both denied their love for years and maintained that they were just friends. Although she did later admit to the media that she found him handsome. And how could you not?
You so fucking precious when you smile.
But she says there was
Some more examples of artists who create this type of content are Bill Wirtz, Solar Sands, MatPat, Karud, and many others. You might be thinking that this is a small YouTube phenomenon and should not be called an art style, but I would argue that they are becoming more and more popular. For instance, the history of the entire world, I guess, has been viewed more than 100 million times. That's as much viewers as the Super Bowl, and it doesn't charge this much for an ad. And remember the fresco we saw a while ago? Well, now you can watch its full story, made by Solar Sands in Descriptive Memery. Number 5. Nostalgia. Okay, so this one is a little bit harder to define. So let's say that it is the art of putting together different elements in order to evoke deep feelings of nostalgia. Let's do an example. Please imagine that you are dreaming of a future where all means of production have been seized and private ownership has been suppressed. What songs, images, text could evoke this feeling? Well, someone tried and it looks like Soviet wave. In fact, there are a lot of waves you can tune into right now. Some are more dedicated to happier stages of life, and some are more depressing. But this style is not about the type of music, it's about the story that these musics have the potential to tell. The difference is between having this, a song from the 20s, to making it sound like it came from another room, a room that has a cozy fireplace, where rain hits the window and there's thunders outside, a place where you're safely home. And so by mixing music, video, effects, this art can transport the listener into another world. Sometimes a world that already exists and now we miss it, sometimes a world we can only dream of. And you can find compilations of this style all over YouTube. Some of them are called point of view, and yes, you can find the most creepy and bizarre things. And so, in the spirit of nostalgia, I gave it a go and attempted to create a few of them myself. Tell me what you think. So these are just some ideas, this list is by no means extensive. I guess the point of this video is to say that art, beauty, creativity have been constantly morphing. Every now and then we come up with new ways to express our skills, stir emotion, challenge other minds. And we do so because creating is a symptom of being human. So if you aren't already doing so, start creating. Even if you think your art has no value or beauty, just have fun. And maybe someone in the future will look at your creation and say, "Whoa, I'm really glad that someone did this." My name is Mario, and thanks for watching.